Well, that was
Hello.
abrupt. I forgot
It's
to.
so abrupt. We're all
It's
just
kind of
looking
really
down.
cool, and it's going, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, stop, come back. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, totally wanted to take that stairway.
Hello, Dr. Ben. How are you?
I am just fine. How
What's
about you
up,
guys
Doc?
doing? How are you?
I am so much better. I know you probably, Jamie, that's my turn. Look, as soon as I saw that you were in here, and I'm like, Dr. Ben, you light up my world.
Oh well, thank you. You should see. You should have seen how happy I was when I was out driving around, and I stopped. I was running an errand, and I just happened to check my messages, and I saw that he had a message, and I lit up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, I love it. I so love it. Because he told me I was going to be surprised, and I was like, ooh, let's hope that I am.
Well, I hope
You
it was a
know,
pleasant surprise.
I
Yes,
feel like
I'm
I'm
sure it
getting some
was.
undue hate, undeserved hate right now.
Not at all. Hello,
Yeah.
Anita. Welcome to the show. Joanne, yes, I was having technical difficulties. Sorry, Joanne. It's all me today.
It was challenging because I was trying to run a sound test with our guest tonight, and yeah, technology sometimes just doesn't work out. And it was one of those where I was like, I'm calling an audible. I was like, I want you to have a good time. I want our viewers to have a good time. I want us to have a good time. I was like, and this is not going to be a good time. And she agreed, so it was fine. But we've got a plan to work out so that tomorrow we can run another test at a different location.
Mm.
And then next Friday, if everything goes well with that test, she'll come on and we'll go live. And I really bit by it, right? Because this weekend was the season finale of Deep Fried Dynasty. So for those of you who are just
Yes.
tuning in, I had started watching this show on A&E called Deep Fried Dynasty, and it's about people that they pick a certain amount of people to see in 24 days during the Texas State Fair.
Okay.
They make a year's worth of money, and some of these people we're talking like as little as $750,000, all the way up to people whose goals were like $3 million.
Wow.
In 83 days.
Oh
24
man.
days.
So, 24 days.
24 days, less than 1 month.
Less
I don't
than
know where I
1
got
month.
84 days from.
That's fine. But I mean, even 84 would still be a stretch
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking a year's worth
Yeah,
in
that's
anything less
incredible.
than a year. So anyway, we'll talk more about it when she comes on. And if she doesn't, we'll just discuss it more. But I got to see it was only 13 episodes. I was getting really into it because, I love foodie stuff. And
Yes.
it was cool just seeing people, there was no weirdness or whatever. It was just people going through normal stuff. And I like that.
And you said this was the Texas State Fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're all participating in there.
Well, when is that? What month?
Oh, gosh.
I mean,
already passed. 'cause they
Texas State Fair happens, okay, like September-ish? Is it
Well,
September-ish?
I was going to say if it's July or August, we can tell all the teachers listening to. I think we've just found our second job. So
Right?
Sandy was right, actually. So it's September 30th to October 23rd.
okay, well,
Oh, and that's this year's. So this year's State Fair is September 30th to October 23rd.
Because I always want to say it comes whenever like the Lubbock Fair does, and then it's it's over there for that. So hi,
Yeah.
CPJ, welcome.
Hey, CPJ.
Oh, Mr. CAA.
I'm recognizing a lot of these people on my Facebook. You consider friending these, right? The little area, right? So I'm recognizing a lot of them.
Yep,
Awesome.
they
Late
knew,
September to October. Yeah, I mean it's a big deal. I've only experienced it one time, and there's a lot of peeps. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
much.
and they go into a little bit of that in detail in the show. So you know what? This will be great. So for everyone at home, if you can, remember to write it down or put a note in your phone or whatever you want. But Deep Fried Dynasty. It's on A&E. The season finale. I don't know if they're coming back for another season or whatever, but season finale ended on Saturday. And one of the last things I told Chef Cassie when I departed from her, I was like, the lag was so bad. I was like, look, let me say everything I want to say, and then you can respond, but give me 5 seconds after you hear my last bit, okay? And so I was like, I was giving her all this stuff. I was like, there's so much I want to talk about. Congratulations, all this, everything. And so I was like, oh, but we'll get to it next week, I hope. Okay. So
Yeah.
I hope so.
Best of luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely give it a watch. Like I said, A&E Deep Fried Dynasty. and it's only 13 episodes. 30
I
minutes
keep wanting
long.
to say deep fried fantasy, but I think that's for a different show.
That's for your. That's the stuff under your bed. That's what she was used to. That, Sandy. Okay, so what was going on for you today, Dr. Ben? How have you been today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I was, like I said, this weekend, my daughter Natalia had her ballet recital on Saturday.
I saw the pictures. Congrats.
Yes.
She looks so beautiful on there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And so it's always an arduous task to get through the recital in the final week, right, with all the rehearsals. And so, and I'm acting like I had to do that, right? Of course, I didn't even have to. I like how I'm. And so yesterday my mom and dad left, and then so today was just kind of a normal day, not too bad at all.
So for any of our first-time viewers out there, let me just clue you in real quick on who Ben is, because he won't toot his horn as well as we will, right?
I know that's right.
So Dr. Ben, or Ben at that Cologne guy, he has a YouTube. Let me rewind. Ben and I first met. I met his wife first because we would take our daughters to ballet dancing. This was over about 13 years ago. And so that's how we initially met. So skip forward a bit. I see Ben around town occasionally, here and there. Always a great guy. He's never been a guy where I'm like, I don't want to hang out with him or anything like that. He's just
like, hopefully he can't see me over here.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, no.
Is the code clear?
So Dr. Ben, he's a doctor because he has his PhD in linguistics in Portuguese and Spanish.
The degree is just Spanish. Yeah.
Okay, in Spanish. So he's fluent in Spanish. He also started a YouTube channel called That Cologne Guy. If you haven't yet, go check it out on YouTube. His review, I'll be honest, I'm going to be a little bit raw with my review, Ben, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
It's humorous, but it's so stinking informative. He does such a great job at reviewing the colognes and the perfumes, but his voice.
Yes, it's butter. It's butter to my ears.
Is that what it is? Okay,
it really is.
But let me throw in my review.
Yeah.
So when you first said we're going to interview this way back when, we're going to interview a guy that reviews colognes, and my response was, how interesting could that be, Jamie? And that cologne guy, Dr. Ben, came on here and blew our socks off with his knowledge, with everything that we were asking him, and he forever became our favorite.
Yeah. I mean, he threw that knowledge, y'all. If you go back and look you'll see Sandy and I are just like glossy, starry eyes. We're just
our face hurt from smiling.
So did mine. So did mine, actually. My facial muscles were actually hurting, and I think this is my fourth time on the show, if I'm not mistaken. So I always leave here with facial muscles, strained from smiling so much. So,
and one of my favorite stories was the lady that thought your name was Bench.
Well, and it's a total Seinfeld / Curb Your Enthusiasm moment, right? Because like, at what point you just let it write itself out, right? So
just let it go.
I currently have a guy that his name is Javon, and I just learned that, and I thought his name was Joel. So now I'm just full steam ahead with Joel, even though they've already told me his name is Javon.
I love that name. So if you get a chance, head over to YouTube, look for That Cologne Guy. You're going to see Ben's channel, and subscribe to it. His reviews are really good. So there's been times where he's reviewed like really expensive cologne, fellas, or even ladies. Ladies, if you're looking for a gift for your guy and you're wondering what type you want, a good, like, that's what Dr. Ben does.
And like the seasons, that was new to us. Like what seasons you can wear what stuff.
One of the things I really enjoyed was that a fair amount of ladies have reached out and said, "What do you think about this perfume?" And because at that particular time it was during the pandemic, I wore perfumes around the house.
I love it.
So it's like I don't know if I could be so bold to say I would now, but I certainly did during when I was working from home exclusively, and I really enjoyed doing that. It's kind of funny because I know what I'm supposed to do, right? What I'm supposed to do is like these 1 to 2 to 3 minute, like, really like uber enthusiastic videos every other day, and just, blow people away with like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I just like putting out, I like the traditional review. It gives me a chance to sit down and really, analyze a fragrance and go through it and give it the respect I think it deserves. And so, the most expensive one is probably about $450 to $500 a bottle that I've reviewed. And I have also reviewed an Axe. So I've reviewed the cheapies.
That's right. I remember when you went to the 5 or 10 colognes that people, the brothers on a budget
exactly
needed something to help them out, and you reviewed that for them.
So we have a question coming in here. Dr. Ben, did you see the claims linked to internal issues against Bath and Body Works that came out recently? Should I be worried?
Ooh, I have not. Is it specifically regarding to fragrance?
That's interesting.
Or is it?
Give me a second.
Or is it lead in the candles?
Yeah, is it hand soap?
That's interesting.
They finally found out that I was using the same hand soap coupon over and over again.
Yeah. You never really gave it up. Exactly. You never forfeited the coupon.
Exactly. I just held it up and they never really scanned it.
That's interesting.
She'll let us know. I do not know about that one, and so I will take a look.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything yet. I'm not saying they're not there, but my search term probably didn't, because all I'm getting is inflation stuff about Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret has gone up. They used to have like 5 for $25 undies. Now they're like 25 half an undie for $25.
Yeah, exactly. Everything has gone up.
So this weekend I was. I gotta show off, and John's gonna hate me, right? So Dr. Ben, last year I started years ago. I lost a collection of comic books, a very large and impressive collection.
How did you lose it? Did you ever tell us?
I made when you're growing up and you make some stupid decisions. Sandy, you remember, right?
Sure.
No, I didn't pawn them, but anyway. It's too traumatizing to talk about it. But either way,
with baseball cards,
it happened.
Totally.
Okay, yes.
I fully understand.
Okay, yes.
But was it a baby Ruthie?
I'm like Jaime. I refuse to talk about it.
Yeah. So anyway, last year I got the bright idea to be like, wait a minute, I'm an adult now. I can start collecting. My kids are older. Let me just see. So I started going, and I haven't stopped since. That's the short of it. This weekend, I am, but. I'm
has a problem.
So I'm going to just share 2 issues today, okay? Because I really like these.
Okay.
And I love all of mine. There's some that I'm really happy about, but check this one out. I don't know if you can see it, but
that's clean.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's super clean.
So it's Supergirl and Batgirl, and the art cover, it just looks phenomenal.
It does actually.
Who was the artist on this one?
I think the artist's name is Ash Can.
Oh.
So. Anyway,
congratulations on your
So then I picked up this one in town. Someone was selling it in town, I was like, "Get out of here!" So there's this print of Spawn comics that you can't get very well because they printed so few of them during a period of time, and this guy had an issue. It's my first what they call a virgin cover.
This is Comaholics Anonymous.
So this is a Spawn issue that I'm.
Is that what the CAA was?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So this is called a virgin cover variant because there's
there's no stickers.
Yes, there's nothing on the front except the art. That's it.
Okay. Wow.
And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" So when I picked it up, I stayed in the guy's front yard for like 20 minutes because I was taking pictures and shooting it everywhere and be like, "Look what I got!" So I was like.
Jamie, I think you should share that story because we're making Joanne yawn.
Yeah.
You should share that.
I got more, Joanne. I got a whole stack of them right over here. You want to hear?
No, the one that you shared with me this morning, that was like the one the copy that was ruined. Not ruined, just devalued.
Yeah. So I got a copy that I really wanted, And unfortunately, when I got it, it had water damage on it, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh man!"
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
not
Oh,
that one.
which one?
The one that the girlfriend destroyed.
Oh my gosh! So if you didn't see my post, there is a copy of a comic book. It's Amazing Spider-Man issue 14, back from 64.
Okay. Wow.
This comic normally can go for a high-graded comic. It can sell for about $175,000-$300,000.
Wow.
Easily.
Wow.
Okay.
Man. Okay.
This boyfriend was spending more time with his video games than he was spending with her. So she grabbed Amazing Spider-Man issue 14, grabbed her permanent marker, and wrote this scathing message, not just on the front of the comic, but also on the back, that basically said, "You suck.
Right.
I hate you, and this is really happening," or something like that. You know what I mean? She wrote it on the front.
This
of
is
the
real or whatever. Yeah.
This was back in 2019, and she was pissed with herself too. But she was pissed because she was like, "I can't believe I hate you so much that I ruined something that was so beautiful." This was an original.
Did she know it though at the time?
Yes.
Wow. So she was aware of how much it was.
110%. She loves comics. This was an original.
She does not love comics if she did that.
I think her brain reverted from her amygdala or frontal lobe to her amygdala at the moment. I don't know. But she wrote on this. So anyway, the funny part to it though is it did decrease in value, obviously, but there are collectors out there who are like, I still paid $5,000 for that. And it sold through one seller for $5,000.
Okay.
And now it's got this funny term in the comic collecting industry called the angry girlfriend variant.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, so did you take you took a picture, didn't you?
So I have one of my comic suppliers.
Yeah.
He got to meet her and the comic and got a picture with the two of them.
I saw that reference a couple times and I didn't get it. Right?
Did they break up?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And so there's a girl that bought the comic.
So he was at my supplier was at a convention.
Okay.
So the comic was at that convention, and so she had just happened to also, and he just got the picture with both of them.
So the girl that wrote on the comic was at the convention.
Yeah.
I had to kick her out. Like, you were banned for life for vandalizing this comic.
So
or make her pay for it.
And there are, she owned it though. So it was, from what I understand, she owned it. She did this to the comic and left it on the copy table to show him. He understood the value of that comic also.
Wow.
And it tore him up. It tore all of us up. When we read about
it tears me up, but I don't even.
Okay, hold. She ruined her own comic?
That's the way the story reads. It looks like it was her comic, not his. We all thought it was his originally. Right. That she defaced his property. But
maybe they had like a mutual collection, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
But in her Twitter post, she claims it is hers. So
wow.
They need to do a documentary.
I need that little sound bit that says, "You're so dumb." For real.
That moment when,
Gosh.
Yeah. And I'm like, and if you see the grade on it, it's at a 1.2 or 1.8. You go up to 10, but no comic ever gets a 10.
Okay.
But so 9.8 is what you're looking at. Her comic looks like it's a really good copy. I would say, just with looking it through the glass I saw on the picture, easily was a 7.58.
Oh man.
So that probably could have gone for about, I would say, at least 5 digits. At least easily 5 digits.
Dang. And it went for 5,000. Might as well have gone for $5.
Yeah. So here's the thing with comics and with anything. It only matters, the value only really matters to the person who's willing to pay as much as they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, it's just like baseball cards. Well, I would imagine.
Yeah. So.
God. But that is seriously. But I get, you know what, though? But you know what? It's better than murder. I mean, I got to bring that around.
It is, but right.
But had it been his, I think he would have wound up on the show.
I definitely think so too. I definitely think so too.
The complete set would be her, the comic, and the marker that she wrote with. Then I think that would increase the value again. And not to
Yeah.
anywhere where it was, but pretty significantly.
Gosh. Okay, so CPJ says the post was published 4/18 by an environmental group claiming infertility and organ damage through prolonged or repeated exposure. I would also like to add that on the same internet, I have seen a selfie of Lincoln while he tells us not to believe everything we see on the web.
I mean, I'm writing. Y'all keep
But
talking.
there's people that stand in line for those cells on those things. I just walk in there and it gives me a headache. Dr. Ben, you know that I'm sensitive to smells, so I can't even walk into that store. So.
Sure. No, and not only that, but if you notice on some of their products, or any product in the U.S. with fragrance, it'll say specifically, like, for those residents in California, we have to notify you that this could cause cancer or something like that.
Dr. Ben, I rented a car when I was in California, and there was a sticker that said driving could cause cancer. So I think everything that they have has that sticker. Being in an elevator, I had the same and I think I bought like a belt or something, and it had the same sticker on it. It's so crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Probably because like if the plastic gets hot enough, it will emit a certain smell or something. I mean,
everything, honestly.
At some point, yep.
All right, so it looks like there was a post that was put on a Facebook back on April 18th, and are y'all familiar with safety data sheets? The stuff they put in the OSHA handbooks, and so every business. For those of you who don't, OSHA is a company, a federal government group. Any chemical in any business has to have a safety data sheets on all those chemicals. It basically tells it the entire chemical makeup. There's a safety data sheet that was last revised in 2019 that said specifically for Bath and Body Works Wallflowers Home Fragrance Refill Winter Candy Apple. That's one item, guys. I just said so.
Sure. And
it outlines that the product is suspected of damaging fertility or the unborn child, and may cause damage to organs through prolonged or repeated exposure.
So those are the ones where you plug in, right? It's
that's what I'm thinking.
Or it's part of the So it's
those little
it's a
whatever those
fragrance.
are that goes into the little fan that plugs into the wall, right?
Yeah.
That's what it makes me think. I'm not 100% sure. CPJ, if you know what that.
Yeah, because I'm not a Bath and Body connoisseur.
I'm not a fragrance person. We don't.
Well, and see those are on, some of them are at least on a timer, right? So they're going to emit, every 15 to 20 minutes, like a spray, right, to keep it. So that can be, relatively strong. I wonder if the lawsuit was in California, but
I'm reading Bath
California
and Body
or
Works.
Illinois occasionally will come in with some strong lawsuits as well.
So
for fragrance or just for in general.
I can't remember the one that came out.
I'll tell you about the one in Illinois here in a second.
Okay.
So this Bath and Body Works came back and said that every Bath and Body Works product undergoes extensive. This is quote, extensive review to ensure safety. Safety data sheets like the one in the social media post do not reflect the safety of products when used as directed. These sheets are a standard practice in the home fragrance and consumer products industry. Bath and Body Works posts these sheets to anyway. It keeps going on. So then. Does not charge a fee for product. Anyway, yeah.
So basically,
this could be somebody who was just putting emitting every 15 minutes when it was supposed to be every hour or something.
Yeah, and even in their post, they even say something about you've got to use it the way it's instructed, not the way you want to use it, or something like that. And as with any product that you use during pregnancy, consult a doctor.
Can you imagine? This is the last thing I would be asking my doctor. Hey, can I turn on my wallflower?
Yeah. Is that
can I plug in?
Yeah.
Can I plug in my wallflower?
Can I use Glade?
Yeah.
I just need I'm like, can I use what's the sanitizing stuff? Lysol.
Febreze.
Can I just spray Lysol on everything?
Yeah, Febreze or Lysol.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
So CPJ says, so my 14 body squirts of spray on my body's good. Holla. As long as you don't inhale
no one's complaining, and then I guess, so I don't know about all of them, but there is news hitting this weekend that if you are a resident of Illinois, that if you used Facebook in any of their facial recognition software, meaning where it said, is this you in the picture? And you would click on it, which I did. I'm going to be getting it. We, Ben, should be getting checks for $397 because of a $60 million
Really?
class action lawsuit that
I
was
don't
filed
know this.
against Facebook in Hawaii, but was eventually transferred to Chicago and
Oh.
ended up settling here in Chicago. So I filled out. I remember back in 2019, I filled out my little
Did you?
thing. Yeah.
I don't.
So
I don't.
Facebook beat and Samsung. There's one right now in Illinois. Samsung. So the reason Illinois is so popular with getting money back, if you pay attention to it, Illinois has a law that not every state has, and it's a law that protects our biometric data.
I see.
So fingerprints, facial recognition, retina scans, all that kind of stuff. And so if there's specific companies and software out there that utilizes that without our consent, class action lawsuits get filed. One.
Okay. Well,
this is not the first one either. I got
When
a
you
$200
clicked
check
on
from
it-
Facebook a few months or a couple years ago.
When you clicked on it, wasn't it giving your consent?
Nope. Because the law in Illinois, because the terms of usage do not supersede the law.
it was done without.
So even if it had it in there,
Interesting.
it wouldn't matter. At least that's the way I'm getting it. I would like to talk to a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, keep us
On the
posted
show.
on that. I mean, let me.
Do you know a lawyer in town, Dr. Ben?
I do not. I do not.
Anita said, it seems like everything nowadays is harmful to us, especially foods. Ain't that the truth?
That's not just nowadays. That's since 60s, the 50s or 60s, probably even before that.
Yeah.
Very legitimate question. Jamie, are you going to get a new bowling ball with your new cash?
No, more comics.
I was just, dang, I missed mine. I was just going to say that.
But
Yeah. But you know what, John, you're making me think that I should start a new show or podcast or something where we're called Comics Anonymous, and it's about people who spend money on things that they shouldn't.
You should do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
People
I'm
would
seriously considering it. I'm like,
you
that's
should,
not a good
because
idea.
people love it. People would love, and it's, think about it. There aren't that many people out there that have I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know.
No, they're not. I've been looking. There's not.
I was going to say.
There's like two. There's really one guy who I found that I'm like, okay.
All right.
And about the collecting. Not there's lots of people who talk about comics, but one guy who talks about collecting.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, good luck.
is that
to
your Bruno costume back there?
Oh, guys. So, okay.
I
More
just was
comic
like,
book
what
talk.
is that?
More comic book talk. Free Comic Book Day is on May 7th, I think. Oh,
May 5th or May 7th? Oh, it's not Cinco de Mayo. It's
May
probably
7th. So Free Comic Book Day is May 7th. This is not an Illinois thing. This is a United States thing.
Okay.
So all across the nation on May 7th, you can show up to your local comic book shop or shops, and you can get free comic books. Now, each shop might have a different rule. Like ours, you can only get 3 comics if you show up normally. But if you show up in a costume, you get 6 comics. So what does a guy with a family of 5 do? Get costumes for all 5 of them. And y'all are all going to go get comic books. You're going to give them to me, and then I'm going to give y'all ice cream and boba tea, and it's a win-win for all of us.
Oh, wow.
So I ordered this thing, and it pissed me off, but I tried it on, and I love it. I so love it. So that is Bruno's poncho from the movie Encanto.
Where'd you get it?
Oh,
I
cool.
found it on Amazon, on Amazon. It was the last one, and I've been trying hard to find them, but they're so expensive. This one, I was like, I'm just going to shoot, and let's see what goes. And I got a large size for me, but I was afraid it wasn't going to fit.
Sure.
Oh, my gosh. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that looks cool.
So now all I'm going to do is I've got some rats on the way, little plastic rats, and I'm going to glue them to the side because as the song goes, rats on his back. There's that phrase in there. And Bruno, he has some rats that have been keeping him friends forever. But I'm going to glue them to the back of that thing so that I can walk into the comic shop and
well, I'm glad you said fake or plastic rats because after seeing all your pictures of your snake, it very well could be real ones.
It could be, or dead ones at least, right?
Bring
Some frozen
feeder
ones.
snakes.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you noticed that. I meant to bring that up, Sandy. So yeah, that is Bruno's poncho back there.
Well, cool. I'm glad you found one.
Yeah,
And,
I am too.
CPJ, we watched, my little niece SJ loves Encanto. So she and I were watching Encanto Monday. And so, yes, I think that's the 4th time we've watched it
Yeah, I can't
Together.
stop watching it either.
Really,
It's hard.
I don't think we watched it yet. So
It's addicting, Doc. It's addicting.
all right,
I
all
only
right.
watch it because she watches it, and I love her joy when she watches it. It's so funny.
Cute.
Okay.
So cute. It's heavy on the Colombian background, but it's fine. It's great. It's really great. So I find myself going through stages. So I'll be at home and I'll just be humming the song or whatever, and then I'm like, "Where's it?" I get my Spotify out and I start listening to it, and then I'm belting it out with it, right? And then I'm like, "Oh, that scene was really good." So I'll go and I'll look through the movie and I'll, Disney Plus forward, backward, and then I end up just starting over and watching it all. And I'm like, "So good. That was so good."
So, yes, where are our manners? We forgot to tell everybody. Joe is super busy this week, so he will not be on the show. He has lots of photo shoots going on, so he needed the time to edit. So that's why he's not on. Oh, look at that little puppy.
She keeps scratching my leg, so we'll just do it now anyway.
No. Hi, baby.
Oh, my
what is
goodness.
she? Is she a doodle?
She's a schnoodle.
Schnoodle. Oh, my
So
gosh.
she's a schnauzer.
You didn't have that dog the last time you were on the show, did you?
No, we've had just had our year anniversary recently.
Oh my
that
gosh,
she's
look,
been here
she's
at the house.
licking the headphones.
So she kept scratching my leg, so I figured we might as well.
She's like,
so this
Doctor-
is Nugget.
No.
If Nugget ever needs a babysitter,
And so, not that she's babied, but she actually demands that she's held.
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
god!
Have you seen my videos of Junie?
Yes,
That's
I
the
have.
same
No,
way.
The good night routine is too much for me. It's too much. It's too much. I love that. Those are way too cute. So,
She is ridiculous.
Oh,
She's so
God.
ridiculous.
they
She
kind
knew
of
exactly what
just
she
a
wanted.
little spoiled here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You just have to. You just have to spoil them.
Because you have two. Is it golden doodles?
I have 3 golden doodles. One of them is my foster. We are puppy raising her. She will be a service dog.
Okay.
She's completing her last level this go around. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
John says down over here. Look at his comment.
Mini Sandy. I think he's calling me a dog. He's been calling me a dog.
Yeah, I think it's maybe spoiled. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe. Oh,
I don't-
maybe.
I don't know.
That's a lot nicer than what I was thinking.
That's right. That's what I'm trying. So
So I want to give a shout out real quick to Mom, because Mom's watching her son on here, and she gave us a heart. She's the one who
Yes,
gave us a heart. So Mom,
yes.
thank
my
you.
mom's
Mom-
on right now.
Yes.
She always watches
She always
Dr.
comes
Ben.
through.
I love that. She's so supportive.
She is always supportive, and I just let her know a little while ago, and so she was super psyched for this.
Oh, well, thank you for watching, and we appreciate you tuning in. There's a question coming in for both of you. What are your plans for all the mothers in your world? Because that is coming up.
Yeah. So you go first.
I really want to share, but I can't share.
Okay.
But I do. But so I can kind of.
Vegeta isn't watching.
Well, Mama Vegeta, she'll just probably get like something sweet and tasty. You know what I mean? I'll send something over there. So like usually I like to send those bouquets of fruit. You know,
Edible arrangements.
Yeah, like that.
They're
And
under
so-
new management. Hopefully, they'll be better.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. You know, Sandy, I asked I think a couple months ago, and it was like I had seen a lot of bad reviews for edible arrangements in Lubbock, and so I was like, I don't want to use them, and I didn't. I ended up going with someone
local?
a local person, just a home, whatever. So I want to say home baker, but whatever that is. So she did it, and my father loved it. My father absolutely thought it was awesome. He was so happy to get it on. She did great. So I might try to use her and send my mom something. And I usually get a bunch of it because she has her grandchildren who live with her. They're older, but I like, everyone share it. So, or I might send her to movies. That's the thing she likes to do. She won't go see a movie by herself, but if I buy her and the family tickets and popcorn and all that, then they'll go see it. So I might do something like that for her.
Cool.
For my wifey, Doc, have you been to Bread and Pickle yet?
I think Rosie did.
Okay.
I have not.
Anyway, so Bread and Pickle is are you both familiar with what Speakeasy is?
Yes.
Yes.
Speakeasy. Okay. I took Dr. Pineapples there for a late birthday because she was working in other things. So I got her, and I got reservations. I had put them back in January.
Oh,
and
cool.
we went there. It was amazing. You walk in, you can't even tell this place is a restaurant from the outside. Like,
And
we
that's
went
like
there,
the whole thing, right? That's their whole.
yeah, it's
Oh,
like
that sounds so
prohibition. And so, so I even went there before to make sure I knew where to go. And I was still like, okay, if it wasn't for the obvious decals on the front, or not even decals, the spray painted a loaf of bread and a pickle. That's it. I wouldn't have known that was the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
At all. So we get in there, and there's
where is it, Jaime?
Do you know where Fat Jack's? No, not Fat. Yeah, Fat Jack's in Uptown Normal.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Downtown Bloomington.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right next door to that.
Okay. All right. I know where you're at.
I thought it was behind there, actually. But anyway, get in there. There's a woman who's just standing there, and you're like, my wife was looking, and she's like, okay. There's a wall of wares. So you're not, when I mean just wares, like bowls, cups, kettles, and all this stuff. And so the lady's just standing there smiling, and I go over there, and I was like, I got this, babe. Watch this. And I said, spring break. And she was like, the entrance is right in front of you. And we kind of looked, and Dr. Pineapples, she's just like, and she puts her hand on something, and the door freaking opens up. And I was like, how'd you know? I couldn't even find it. And so anyway, it was really cool. And then you go in, and it's a dim lit restaurant, bar, and everything. It was cool. The food was, but they do different themes, and this theme,
but the experience,
it was fun experience. But every meal had peanuts in it, and we were just kind of like, I feel like I'm eating peanut butter a lot. That seems to be the theme. But it was good food. Food. I might try to do something like that for her because she had a fun time. But we just would do it with a different menu. You know what I mean? Instead of, it was a Thai menu.
So it's a rotating menu.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. I love restaurants that have rotating menus.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll do that, and I'll tell the two of you after the show if we remember. But
okay, that's all. It's part of the VIP experience that we offer here.
I'm impressed by what I'm doing for her.
Oh wow!
Oh, I'm like, this is going to be one of those gifts where you're like, generations.
Okay, you're not going to start outdoing us again, are you, Jaime?
It sounds like it, because I'm like,
So I won't say anymore. I'm sorry, I won't say anymore.
And if I do find out, I won't say anymore, because then I'll look bad. So
yeah, definitely don't share that story.
Yeah, it might be one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get it to her in time. Now I have to wait. What's the next holiday? Our anniversary, and then the next holiday. You know what I mean? So we'll see though. But I think you both will agree with me when I tell you later. So what about you, Doc? What you doing for the mommies in your world?
Well, and my mom can chime in on whether we're thinking about those guys. My mom and dad might come here, and then we might take the train up to Chicago for a day and a half. That's the very, very tentative plan.
So one Mother's Day or birthday, you sent mommy to go see her most favorite artist in the world, right?
Indeed, I did, and in fact, I have an update on that one because so that would have been 2017. My mom is a Pink fanatic. The singer.
Oh, that's right.
And so and I so forgive me if I'm repeating it, but and especially for her because she's heard it. But when I bought the tickets, I thought there was this huge black strip in the middle, right, and that you couldn't purchase, and so I thought those might have been either it looked like an orchestra pit. So I thought, okay, no big deal. Or maybe they were just, tickets that were sold, already or something. I didn't think much of it. But then it turned out that was her stage.
Pink stage.
Pink stage. And so we were right next to her most of the, concert. And she held my mom's hand.
I saw the video.
And
she got to touch Pink.
She held her hand and she sang to her. And
his mom went nuts.
My mom, I have never seen, except for Natalia being born. I don't think I've ever seen my mom that emotional. She was.
That is so
really
cool.
fun to see her.
Really was.
Amped. Yeah, and then just what was about a week ago, I think she went to North Carolina. I'm hoping I'm getting my state right, and saw Bon Jovi.
Your mom is so cool.
Are you serious?
I love it.
But this time it wasn't like the right by the stage or anything, but she still had a great time. And who doesn't like Bon Jovi, right?
Right.
I've been playing Beat Saber, and I'm like, I've been needing to get some Bon Jovi music on there so I can play.
Uh-huh.
So yes, that's
So
awesome.
that's the real tentative plan, is maybe to spend like a day and a half up in Chicago.
If any of you are friends of Dr. Ben's Facebook page, go look for the video of his mom in pink. Even watching it was one of those where you're caught up in it, and I was crying because I was so happy for his mom. She just looked like she was on cloud nine.
You know, it was one of those special moments. It was one of those special moments. You know how in life when you'll build something up, even if you try not to, right? You'll build something up, and then it'll live up to it, or maybe even be, maybe slightly less than maybe you built it up too much in your mind.
Yeah.
Right? And it was every once in a while something will happen that you build up, and it actually even surpasses that. And so that's what that day was, right? I mean, just every stop we made on the way to the concert, and then of course the concert itself was certainly special. So best money I've ever spent.
That's
that is so awesome.
I'm glad
I love
she
it.
has that memory with you, man.
Oh,
it's really uplifting.
And I said it before, I'm a metalhead, and it's not really it's not my music. I'm not going to claim that it is, but she is up in the top probably 5-10 concerts I've ever seen. She
said it was magical.
It was. That woman, she is a born entertainer, and so she is incredible, actually.
I can't wait to see her again, because when I see her, I'm gonna just give her a giant hug from Sandy, Joe, and I just be like,
yes.
Oh, thank you. Good.
I've seen his mom a few times, and she's always just been the sweetest woman ever. Like, you're like, man, can I just take her, Dr. Ben? Just take her for a little while.
You know what I've always said?
House.
She and all of her sisters just have this unlimited, untapped energy that I wish I could put in a bottle and have it myself. So,
I'm
going to bring her to my house. And I'm just be like, you just sit there, and I just want to be next to you, and let's watch a movie together. Let's listen to some jams.
You can slightly tell that I'm an only child, so that's all right. I really appreciate her, because I just let her know with not too much time notice, obviously, and so that was nice of her to stop in tonight. And I will say again, speaking of the channel, in my episodes, they're about 20 to 30 minutes once a week, right? Which is a lot to ask out of somebody, to hang in there for that long a time, especially if you're
ask an hour twice a week.
Right.
5 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's like a specific cologne from Sicily or something, right? And so she watches every week, and I will always throw in little like inside jokes, little
Easter
things.
egg.
Exactly.
Nice.
And she has caught every single one, and so I will commend her for that.
Oh, look at her. Good for her. So
that's awesome.
CPJ says, everyone says pink is amazing to see, even if her music isn't your fragrance. Same as Garth Brooks.
Okay, yeah, born entertainer. Yeah, absolutely.
So I love Pink's music. I've loved it ever since she released her first song. There's hardly a song I don't like from her, to be honest with you.
Well, and you probably heard that she does the the circus like stuff above you in the second half of the concert. She's just amazing. It was, I would go see her again, and I would recommend highly to anybody to see her once. And I kind of agree with my mom. Once you sit that close and you see an entertainer like that, it's a little hard to live up to. You get kind of used to that.
Quickly, you're like, where did you put me? That's not the. I'm in row 6.
I recently last month, a buddy of mine went, and every year we go to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Hockey game, and so this year we decided to pay a little bit more and pay to get close to the.
Get closer.
Yeah. Usually we just get the cheapest we can find, and I have to say that after getting that close to the ice, we probably won't be going back to the nosebleeds.
If you ever think
Yeah.
about wanting someone else to go with you, let me know because I love a hockey game. I always lose my voice. I've never been to a Blackhawks game, but I would
Oh,
love
okay.
to go
You
to a
definitely need
Blackhawks.
to go to a Blackhawks game. Yeah, they're a lot of
Yes.
fun. I mean, the original
Yes.
6 teams, Boston. I mean, the original 6. I mean, win or lose, the people are standing up the entire time and cheering. It's really cool.
Yeah. So Lubbock used to have a hockey team. I don't know if they're still there or not, Sandy.
The Cotton
Okay.
Kings.
I have my jersey still upstairs.
Really?
The Cotton Kings
Yes,
are
the
no more.
red Cotton Kings jersey. But Nikisa and I had been to a couple of their games, and oh my God, we'd go to church the next morning. I was supposed to sing, and I'd be like lead songs, and I'd be like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry. So yeah, they get rowdy, and I love it. So
couple of questions. Mama wants to know, can I go too? And I bet the answer is yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Ben
And
does not
CPJ
fail,
says,
does he?
Ben, will y'all go to Wrigley?
Okay, so the answer is yes twice. I'm going to go once with a group of people, and then every year for Father's Day, my daughter and I go to Wrigley Field, and so we go.
That's so special.
In this,
That is so
it is.
sweet.
It really is cool. And in this town, this year it's a little bit different because it's through a church. But usually our town has a bus deal in June, and so you don't have to drive or anything. It's really cool.
That's super nice.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, but then they just take care of everything, so it's really fun.
Sometimes it's just worth it. I was going to ask you when you say you're going to take the train, because that's not something that's here. So you say you're going to take the train. So will you stay like on the train overnight, or how does that work? Or will you get a hotel?
So you can do either one. Usually what we
Okay.
do here, we're about 2.5 hours from Chicago by train.
Okay.
And the train station is just down the street, and so we oftentimes will take for me it is right. We'll take the 7:30 a.m. and then train into Chicago, and then we'll take the 7:30 p.m. back same day. But so we get back around maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it's a pretty big day trip. But if my parents are going to go, we're gonna stay the night and do a day and a half.
So JD came to visit once, Sandy. He and a buddy of mine, and we went up to Chicago for my birthday, and he and the buddy, they just spoiled me up in Chicago. It was a grand old time. Unfortunately, we missed
the train
and missed the train back to Bloomington.
Oh, that last one?
Night, the last one, yes.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do, because I was like, my wife was pregnant with Eden at the time, my youngest.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't have her come up like 2 hours to come. And I was like, do you have anything close to Bloomington? And they're like, we've got Champaign. I was like, we'll take it. And they're like, it's leaving now. I'm like, we're gone. And we had to rush to get to the train, and it literally was almost about to take off, get on. And then I was like, okay. And they're like, what are we going to do now? And I'm like, one step at a time. All right. We were 2 hours away. Now we're only 45 minutes away. So give me a minute.
All right.
Give me a minute. We got home okay. I had a buddy in Bloomington, and that's hard because I didn't really have buddies at that time.
Sure.
And but I found one, and he came to get us. So I was like, oh my god.
Oh well, kudos to him. That's nice.
Yeah, thank you, friend. So CPJ says, Sandy, if you want to sleep on a train, I know a guy that can make that happen. Who is it?
Eric.
Right. Who is it?
You look unsure.
I want to know.
So I have some Reddit posts if we want.
One more question.
Go
what
for
are
it.
your favorite things to do in Chicago?
Eat.
Yeah.
Eat. I love. Oh my gosh. I love to get a hot dog because Chicago dogs are just so stinking. And what's that place, Doc? The one where they put the fries in it, and it's been around forever. George or Jude's and Gary's?
Yeah,
something like that, right?
You're real close. That's the one, though. I know.
You go
I'm
in
looking
there
right at
and
the
you
sign.
just order dogs. And I took my mom when she came to visit, and she was like, hot dogs? And I was like, nah, just try it, okay? Ate it, and she was like, oh my gosh. And it's because they snap. The weenies snap when you bite into them on their hot dogs. It's so good.
That sounds like a pickle.
It does. And whatever you do, whenever you go, take double the money you think you'll need, because food is good, but it's certainly not
expensive,
cheap. Yeah. Everything's expensive these days.
And popcorn. Yeah. You always got to get, what's his name? What's the popcorn?
The one at the train station as well. Oh man, come on! You're gonna hit me with names. Nah.
There's a popcorn. Garrett's. Garrett's popcorn. You got to get Garrett's when you go to Chicago. Also,
I've never been to Chicago. Maybe I need to plan it.
Yeah,
you
would love it.
and then you call Doc and I, and we'll make it a family outing.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. And actually, little known story. I don't think we've talked about this. When I was applying for jobs, one of the ones that I was about to apply to was Texas Tech.
Get out
Really?
of here!
Yep.
No way.
So what happened was when they make how it works in our field is once they make an offer to you, you're on the clock. They call it, right? So they have whatever time they give you. Usually it's around 14 days. So once I got the offer here, I had a couple other ones I was looking at, but then of course I wasn't going to send my CV out to the ones that were outside of that window, right? Because I kind of knew that I was going to accept this position. So I didn't apply, but if I hadn't gotten called on the short list for a campus visit here at ISU, then I would have, applied to Texas Tech.
That's so crazy. And if you had, you wouldn't have met us. Because
I know. Ironically, we know each other, here, right?
Yeah.
So
well,
That
and
is
none
so
of our
crazy.
kids, like my kids aren't close to any of their kids, at least who would be in ballet.
sure.
So no, actually, she had boys, and Joe's daughters were older than mine.
Okay. So Joe
And
has two
yours.
daughters.
He has 2 daughters and 1 son.
Okay, one son.
Yeah, I don't think his son would have been in ballet though, and he might be my youngest age, but
So
my youngest is 2 years younger than Natalia and Eva. So
yeah. So Carrie is saying bucket list. You absolutely need to go to Wrigley Field, and baseball attendance is down this year. So this could be the year that you go, right? Because that's already
Really? It is?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah,
and
actually,
you can bring my dad with you because he wants to go to Wrigley
you
Field.
can
too.
really get tickets easily. To give you guys an idea, the Oakland A's. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Oakland A's a couple of days ago had 2,300 people at a game.
Wow. What's up with the attendance?
So with Oakland specifically, that team though, it's because they for like 3 or 4 years in a row they were on the cusp of being really good, right? And they had a good core, and they got rid of everyone, and so the fans reacted against that.
The fans got rid of themselves as well.
But all across baseball, they were doing a strike. The players were on strike for a while, and I think they're seeing a backlash there. So yeah, the attendance is down a fair amount, which can be good for people who normally can't go catch a game, right?
Eva's
Wow.
saying good night. Good night, baby girl. Love you. Oh, John, if you're still watching, I did have a question for you. I was hoping you could help me out. So I wanted to get some photos of my comics with a softbox. So I bought one. Just, little thing. I also wanted
cool.
to fit food in there.
Oh,
So like, my plates of cookies or cakes or whatever else.
okay.
I just went with whatever I thought. So, but I realized after I get it that I didn't know what 25 centimeters actually was, but it's not big enough for holding comics. So then, should I look for one that's like a foot, 12 by 12, or should I go ahead and just get like a jumbo one where I won't even have to worry about it? Because if I have to carry it around eventually for other stuff, then I want to, or not. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to lug it around, but I don't mind it. So anyway, your opinion would be appreciated, John Harville, if you don't mind. Feel free to ask plenty of follow-up questions and I'll answer. But anyway.
So, Dr. Ben, John is a fairly recent viewer. He is a photographer friend of Joe's based out of California.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I've been waiting to ask Joe this question, but he hasn't been.
Joe's been busy.
Says he's always busy, though.
Joe's always busy, but either way, nice to meet you, John, and everyone else who has chimed in during the show.
So, John, should I get just a slightly bigger one, or should I go ahead and get the jumbo one? Let me know. So, where are we at? We're at 54 minutes. I could read this. I could not read it. We could.
You said a Reddit post. I think we should do one because Dr. Ben is always very insightful with his knowledge.
Okay, now that you say that, let me make it a.
Cheetah Stand has a product box.
Okay.
So
I've actually heard of this.
commit that to memory.
If you can give me the link, I can click on it easily, John, and that would be
If you could do some homework
so
while you're
sorry,
watching this
John.
show.
I'm terrible. I know. I'm so sorry, man. All right.
Thank you for coming on to watch. We're going to put you to work.
Okay.
That's pretty good that he's still around, though, right? He's
Right.
Let me
he's
make
still-
it a hard one.
Maureen says Jumbo sounds good to me.
Okay, so that's my aunt. See what I mean? That's my mom's sister. They're just wonderful
Yeah,
people.
we call
Actually,
them-
just earlier, she took a picture of her TV as she's watching my episode. That's just the kind of
Oh, I love that. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking like Jumbo Burger is when she said Jumbo. We actually have a Jumbo Burger here in town, and it's the old-fashioned style burgers, like the greasy bun. Oh, so good. So
Yeah,
when she
that
said
sounds
Jumbo,
very
that's
good.
what I thought of.
well, who could blame you?
All right.
Okay.
So
I got
you got
some.
something?
I got lots of good ones, but I'm trying to find one that's really good for Dr. Ben. So, does Airbnb resound with either of you? Anyone?
Not for
Got an
me.
Airbnb one. Okay. How about walking someone down the aisle?
I'm good
I've
with
got
whatever.
two
You know, I've
different
got
ones.
I'm good.
plenty.
Let me veto the Airbnb, but I'll take anything else. How's that?
Okay, so I'm going to do this one. It's lengthy, but I'm going to condense it down. I'll
Okay.
try to.
All right.
But this one is: am I the butthole for agreeing to walk my sister down the aisle? All right. So this person says when they were younger, when they were 14, their mother passed away giving birth to his younger sister.
Okay.
Okay. The father did not handle that well and ended up spiraling down a dark path. We're talking depression, drugs, alcohol, just stopped taking care of the family. And younger brother at 14 years old, family was trying to help out, but they couldn't help out that well.
Uh-huh.
And so he did what he could for the next 4 years for his little sister. When it came graduating time, he did not go to college. Instead, he decided to get a job, part-time job, work so that he could help get his sister through the rest of school.
Wow.
Okay, so 14 years old, she's 1. So 18, she's 4. So he decides to go to work so that he can help his little sister get through the rest of school. During that time,
So
Dad-
he's 18 and she's 14. Is that what you-
no,
okay.
he was 14 when she was born.
I see.
At 18, she's 4.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Sorry. So, Dad almost died of drugs overdose 3 times. He had depression. He wanted to be involved, but he just could not do it, and it was taxing the brother and the sister.
Right.
And at this point, the daughter, I'm sure, doesn't really understand what's going on here and stuff, right? But she starts calling Big Brother Dada at a year old.
Ouch.
Okay. So she starts calling him Dada. He tries to get her to stop. She doesn't, and so he's like, "There's bigger things to fight than this." So
Right.
I'm relenting on that, right?
Yeah.
So at 19, Dad, at the young man being 19 years old, Dad hears the baby sister calling him Dad, calling the big brother Dad, and the dad flips. He goes
flips
nuts on this. He goes nuts. Said he was trying to take the place and all that stuff, and he went overboard basically. And brother decided that he was going to, and this is confusing because he says inheritance. I don't know how this applies or whatever, but the aunt helps get the inheritance distributed properly so that he can move out and properly take care of his younger sister and not have to even worry about Dad's problems and all that stuff.
Sure.
So I appreciate this kid because for him, number one person in his list is
Was the
baby
little
sister.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
And that's obvious, by everything's written. So now we fast forward, obviously, some decades later, couple, and father's getting better and he's doing better. He's gotten sober. He's been a few years without drugs and all that stuff, and so he wants to start having a relationship with his young daughter. And the older brother's like, he's feeling things about it, but he's like, yes, it's better for her. He's not thinking about it.
Right.
He's like, it's better for her to have her father in the picture. So goes ahead and is like, yes, tries to foster that, right? So now the younger sister is at an age where she's engaged and they're planning their wedding. And so older brother thought he would at least give a speech. Turns out they go ahead and younger sister asks him to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense.
Yeah.
So at a dinner party, they're talking about how the older brother was going to need a nicer suit since he was going to be walking down the aisle, and Dad was confused about that. What did he mean? Comes out what's going on. Dad is not happy about this. Grandma's not happy about this. Everybody in the family is not happy that older brother is going to walk sister down the aisle. When older brother explains that it was not him who chose this, but younger sister who had asked,
Yep.
they were like, you should have just gently said no and let Dad walk her down the aisle.
Too bad.
So he told them he would think about it. A few days later passes, and Grandma and some of the other family friends keep telling him this, and they call him every day, just telling him, you should say no. That's the story. So remember, the story begins, or the whole premise of this is, I'm a butthole for agreeing to walk my sister down the aisle.
So the only thing I would say is if we don't know this, but if the idea behind it is that the bride's family pays for the wedding, then it's really complicated, right? Because if the dad is paying for the wedding, but he's not been asked to walk her down the aisle, it is complicated. Something tells me, though, that he is not paying for this. And the bottom line is it's her wedding, right? So if he didn't ask, but rather she was, if she was moved to ask her older brother, then that's where it should stay.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think she asked the person that she felt that she wanted to ask, and so she did the right thing. If Dad wasn't in the picture, she bonded with her brother, and she has that father-daughter relationship with her brother, and that's an honor for him to be asked that. And I'm sorry, Dad can serve a different role. I mean, you can have the second dance, but the walking, she's asked her brother to do it. He's the one who was there for her. He's the one who sacrificed a lot of his life to be there for her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the grandparents, everybody else, it does not pertain to them. They need to butt out. They need to quit harassing him. They need to quit telling him what he needs to do. This is her wedding. And sorry about you. No.
Yeah, pretty much that's the end of the story, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's hers, and not only that, but think about it this way. Let's say so now everyone knows that the dad is not happy, right? So let's say she recants and says, "Okay, fine." I mean, you want to talk about awkward, right? Because then it's even going to be worse because she'll just be doing it and she'll hold a grudge and be resentful. I mean, it's just not going to work. So
right, there's not going to be any of those positive emotions and feelings.
Exactly, right? Because she wasn't allowed to do what she felt was right to do organically, and so I feel like the fact that he is throwing this fit tells you probably everything you need to know about probably a narcissist, right?
Right. And Maureen here says the bride has 2 arms.
Yeah, good point.
She does. And then Sean says, do it. John says it's up to the bride. No one else matters.
I agree with John.
Agree with John. The brother was the father figure, and yes, he was right, not the actual father.
I'm with you, Joanne. I'm with you too.
Can we normalize allowing a bride-to-be to choose who walks her down an aisle or who she has a first dance with? What if she wants her mom, her tia, her tío, or her first grade teacher? I mean, there's all these things that tradition and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Tradition flew out the window a long time ago. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of, we're doing it before we're getting married. I mean, okay,
Exactly. Exactly.
Speak for yourself.
Well, not only that, but what's good about our times is that you can choose. If you want, ultra traditional, if you want that, you can take that route. But if you don't want that, you don't have to.
I think there's something to be said with, I really appreciate tradition, right? I think traditions, they helped us build what we can now do today. So I appreciate it. I also don't think you have to follow tradition, but if you had some kind of nod to it, that might be okay, right? I think in this case, though, like with kind of what John and what Joanne were saying, like I'm with them in terms of it's kind of the bride's decision. Now, having said that, it would break my heart if my daughters decided, not to have me involved.
But in this instance, like if your daughters didn't have you involved, you're a very involved parent. And if they didn't involve you in their wedding, I could totally see heartbreak and backlash. Totally. But for this gentleman, he wasn't there. And he, yes, because he had mental health issues. Yes. Does he deserve forgiveness? Yes, he does.
So
but but that doesn't mean
he gets a free pass to go in.
Well, not only that, but come on, not only that, but the fact that he's already, reacted the way he did to his own son, who was taking care of his,
who was filling in for his
responsibility. Right? You think he'd be grateful, right? So
you think
you would think he would have. Yes, I'm hurt, but I'm not going to say one thing. I'm going to keep that to myself.
I'm going to just I'm going to fight.
It goes back to what you're saying, Ben, about the narcissistic tendency, if there is one, for someone to be like, but it's me.
Look at this. Very good. Tradition flies out the window when the tradition of raising the children you brought into the world stops.
So
I didn't mention this part because I actually skipped over there was a small paragraph there about how so because dad couldn't control his feelings and stuff, and because the beginning of the story sucks, right?
Yeah.
Mom died giving birth to this little girl, and so he couldn't stop. There were times where he was calling her things like giving her the guilt trip as a young lady, as a young girl, as a child.
This is the dad.
Mom's
right?
dead. Yeah. Mom's dead because you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
honestly, the man is just lucky to be invited to the wedding, if we're being honest.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, we don't know this, but I highly, highly doubt that he's footing the bill. And even if he did, that wouldn't matter. I just mean he doesn't seem like the type to.
You're footing the bill without conditions, and if you're putting conditions on it, then don't foot the bill.
No one wants that.
But here's the thing too. It's the inheritance that's paying for the wedding. It's the inheritance that paid for the kid, for the older brother to take care of the.
But the inheritance came at the loss of the mom.
Yes,
and someone else had to take control because dad would have drank it and boozed it all up.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was Thea who took control and helped with all that part out.
So I mean that.
But see, I think there should be something to be said that acknowledges that dad is getting clean.
He got invited.
He's working.
He got invited,
and I'm not disagreeing with you. And if that's what they said, I think kind of like what you were saying earlier, Sandy, like you need to be content, or you need to understand that your actions got you to this spot. You know what I mean? So you could have chosen not to be sober and not show up at all.
And your actions could have led to your daughter being in the same position you are by guilt tripping her, telling her that her mom died. She could have been on drugs and stuff like that.
That's a really low thing to do, and so
very low.
Okay.
Joanne says, I ran into a situation with my daughter when she got married. My dad was her dad, and so was Rudy. So they both walked her and gave her away, so to speak. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that.
All right. So,
did you leave something else out?
Can I bring up the other?
Sure. Dr. Ben, we have to be respectful.
Yeah, I want to be respectful, but the viewers increased a few actually since we started the first story. So
let's
can I fit another one in? I don't know. I mean,
I will go as long as you guys want to. I really enjoy your company.
Let me just do this one more at least. Let me just do this one. Okay, so it's very similar. Okay, in this case, this is bride is about to get married to her fiance. But there's a big problem. The problem is that she is marrying the man of her dreams, but she does not want the man's twin brother to show up to the wedding. Here's why. Twin brother will be brother B. I'll say potential husband and brother. Okay. Brother was a drug addict and got into a lot of troubles in the past. She doesn't want a drug addict invited to the wedding, but the fiance is insisting to invite him. But not just to invite him, but wants him to also be his groomsman. Brother went to rehab. He's gotten clean. He is doing. It's so hard because she's saying, but I seriously doubt that. I know people like him. They never change. So they kept arguing about it for a few days. Brother invited mom and brother over for dinner one night so they could try to change her mind to allow him to come, not just come to the wedding, but also be one of the groomsmen.
Okay.
Right?
Yikes. Yikes.
Then this poster decides not to cook dinner for anyone and says, no, it's not going to happen, but tells mother-in-law when she starts butting her head in, she says, stop, you have no place in this whole thing. You need to get back into your place, where you're at. She even says something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she says, you don't get to make any decisions in here, so you need to be quiet. So mom and brother leave. She told them, you're not coming to the wedding still. Oh, she told her future mother-in-law to stay in her lane. That's what she told her.
Yeah.
And so this is not her wedding, and is also a big reason for why we've got into the situation, the argument that they're in at the dinner. She's enabled the brother for so long, so that's why she also has no ground to stand on. So they started shouting at her. She told him to get out of the house and leave. Fiance's furious with her, sleeps on the couch. And they can't stop arguing. I'm now seriously considering to hire a security guard to keep that drug addict and possibly their crazy mom too away from my wedding. Am I the butthole or am I justified in my decision?
Okay, so let me just say, who's asking that question?
The bride to be.
Okay.
Okay. She's a butthole. You can't for one day set all of that aside. That's all we're asking. One day, set it all aside. The minute that he goes, whatever he thinks he's, just have him taken out. And the mother-in-law too. But you cannot expect your fiance's family to not be there. That's wrong. And that's his twin brother. We all make mistakes. We've all done things that we're not proud of.
And maybe he is make amends.
Maybe he is doing better. Maybe he's not. But for one freaking day, and you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if how you acted is going to affect your relationship. I mean, I don't know. I just think that she's wrong for that. And you know what? Just elope. If your wedding is still going to happen, which I highly doubt it because of the way you treated his mom. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah. My question would be, have they gotten married?
I need a follow up on that.
I didn't read the comments.
Okay.
And I'll get to some of them later, but
because he might have to, he might have to call a timeout and, maybe
call an audible too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When they say, does anyone see any reason for these two not to be together? He should probably be like, yeah, on second thought.
The brother. How about the brother?
The brother.
Did she say that she'd had any personal run-ins with him?
She didn't mention any kind of, like inappropriate or nasty.
So what's her? I just don't get it. Just because he was a drug addict, she doesn't want him there?
Yeah. So she says he is a drug addict and got in a lot of troubles in the past because of it. I obviously don't want a drug addict invited at my wedding, but my fiance insists not only to invite him, but to make him his groomsman too.
Yeah, but like Sandy said, I mean, to call somebody as their form of identity a drug addict, right? I mean, that right. And to tell your future mother-in-law to stay in your lane.
She's 30, by the way, if that means anything to you. He's 27.
The mother-in-law? Oh.
I don't know that those two will be getting married.
Man, you're cutting his family out of his life. That's pretty...
Right?
I mean, anytime you do something that's going to cause resentment, right?
She sounds pretty entitled, too, right?
This.
Yeah.
She an ass.
Pretty much.
Oh, my gosh, John.
Yep, pretty much.
I think so, too. I think she's just very... Okay, let me go through these. Hold on just a second.
All right.
This is where communication is important and the stress the importance of compromise. Agree. So sounds like wedding shouldn't happen. This is going to be toxic. I think she's toxic. I just from this little bit and her writing in there and demanding that certain people don't go, not just certain people, but your brother,
Twin brother. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another level.
that elevates it because there's a different bond
Yeah,
there. Maureen
there
says
is.
that groom better run. Maureen is
Run to the
wise.
hills, my friend. Run to the hills.
Fella, take that ring back. Yes, don't do it, bro.
You know.
Don't do it. She a butt. Not off to a good start. Bridezilla in full mode.
I think of Bridezilla, I could probably give a lot more grace, maybe,
Yeah.
than this woman, personally.
Was an active user. She's currently sinning differently as judgmental. I mean, she did say he was an active user. That's what I'm saying. Like for one day, surely.
But I've been in that situation, Sandy. And
They might
when
be
you have
getting
that
married, but they will
family-
be getting a divorce too.
Yeah, I agree with Carrie.
I agree with Sandy. If there's drama already before the marriage, they don't need to get married. So, okay. So, Jamie, I get it. I mean, go tell me your story. Let me see if
So I don't know. I don't know if it's quite relatable, but I've been in the situation of having family members who have struggled with substance abuse, and it's one of those it's those interactions where I have come to that times where I'm like, yeah, there's just no way we can have a relationship or that you can be anywhere near my family. Like, you're never invited to my home. Not even phone calls or messages or anything like that. It's just like,
No, and that makes perfect sense because you're not going to enable somebody else. I get that. But this is a wedding. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And for some people, it's, this might be the first of many.
I mean, if this guy has shown up high or whatever to previous engagements, maybe, but we don't know that. Not only that, but he's making amends as being clean, right?
And I get that, but see, here's the thing too: is and I'm not defending her. What I'm saying is, from my personal experience, when those people have done those things, it's really hard to be like.
But it's your twin brother, Jamie, that can't come to your wedding.
And that's why I'm saying it's not the same. It's not the same. But what I'm saying is it's just from her stance. So you know what I mean? Like it'd be like I've seen the hurt. If someone were to come to me and be like, Jaime, I've seen the hurt your family member has put you through. You don't see it, but you don't know. You were broken, tears. You couldn't go to work. You were a mess for X amount of years. Therapy out the goods, so I mean, if there were all those things, and we don't see that part. And again, I'm not defending her.
You just kind of understand.
If that was her stance, which
sure.
I don't think it was, because it doesn't sound like there's anything remotely close about. I'm trying to protect my fiance. I want him to be safe. I picked him up when his brother came in and did this.
Exactly. There's nothing here about that.
Right.
So.
I would expect that if it was someone who was in that scenario, like I'm talking about, this would be a non-self-serving post. It would be one where, like, I cannot have my fiance broken.
How do I protect my fiance from being sad on our wedding day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the answer would be
not have him.
Let the twin go, as provided that he has shown a track record of being clean.
Oh no, I was thinking the other way. You don't let him go, but I see what you're saying. I responded back on this post. Yeah. I did tell them at the end. I was like,
"Okay, let's hear it."
I was like, I'm not going to read it per se because I don't want y'all finding my other Reddit posts.
Okay, got you.
But I will surmise it where I told her. I said, you are not. No, I said you are the butthole, but you need to leave this. That guy does not deserve someone like you. You need someone who's going to listen to you, who's going to believe what you say, who's going to do what you say, and let you just run the whole shebang. The whole ship is yours to control. This man is not that man. That's what I told her.
So Joanne says,
okay,
Control B and a sneak peek at the future. Don't do it, dude.
Yeah.
But he's not on here, so I couldn't speak to him. So for her, that's why I was like, yeah, you need to leave him because he's not worthy. He's not good enough for you.
CPJ says, I get that forgiveness is hard. Forgiveness doesn't equal fellowship. Forgiveness doesn't equal restoration of relationship. But it really sounds like she needs to start the healing process. She can be redeemed in forgiveness for herself and for her future husband. We aren't seeing true love in her heart. Yeah.
Not through this post. I agree with you, CPJ. I'm not seeing it here. It doesn't look like it. I mean, not even. I would give Bridezilla more credit than this. This just seems
Well, because
entitled.
think about it. If she's leaving a post, if he had burned her before, the twin, right? Let's say he did show
She
up.
would have clearly
She would
told
have,
us.
yeah, she would have clearly told us. So if it's a 3 strikes you're out analogy, okay, fine, right? But it doesn't. It just doesn't sound like that to me. It sounds
It
like
doesn't sound like he did anything to her. She just knows that he's a drug addict, and she doesn't want an ex-drug addict at her wedding.
Right.
well, but like you said earlier, right? If everyone at the wedding were to talk about mistakes they've made in the past, then she'd be sitting practically in an empty church.
Yeah.
So
Let he that has no stone, what is it? Has no sin, cast the first stone. I mean, we'd all be gone from that wedding. Just
We
elope. Just elope,
Just
girl.
elope.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow. I
Save
didn't
the
realize
drama.
Man, I got some good awards on that comment.
You'll have to send them to me.
Jeez.
Award?
You know how hard it is to get rewards on Reddit?
oh, rewards. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got like over 1,000 upvotes.
CBJ said,
You
I would
still
understand if he was an active user and could cause a circus on that day. Totally get it. She said was. Yeah.
Yeah, she said was. I mean, if he's around, they're passing.
But guys,
Good night, John. Thanks for being
good
on
night,
here.
John. If you haven't had someone in that situation in your family, like the first time that loved one gives you the spill, you believe it, and then when you come home, and I'm speaking from experience, when you come home and you find stuff is gone, you're like,
yeah,
what just happened? And then again it happens, and they're calling you in the middle of the night because they're bloodied down somewhere, and you're like, what? And then you go help them, and you're like, what am I doing? This is not my line. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, it starts stacking up, and you realize you've gotten suckered into their world, and your loved ones are seeing it, and they're like, bro, you know what I mean? At some point you need to just stop. And so, but it takes a while to get there, and by that time you're talking about that heart investment, that heart connection, man.
yeah.
So I'm, again, not defending her. I'm just saying that when you see that, it makes it hard, so that when they are clean, it's like, nope, well, then you go be clean over there in your world. I can't do this, because if you slip up, I go down a dark path now to myself.
We're not talking about, though, a third cousin here. We're talking about his twin brother.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's the big thing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody makes a request in earnest, you always want to, if your partner makes a request in earnest and you're against it, you have to ask yourself, am I radically opposed to this to the point that it will, hinder and hurt their feelings? And of course the answer is no, right? I mean, there's a give and a take situation here. So she's going to have to learn that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. We have personal experience. Joanne says, is this the same situation, Jamie? And then CPJ says, I've had the issue, the same exact scenario. My brother was allowed at my wedding with love, but we also chose to pay for security guard if any questions in behavior came up. I have walked this exact scenario. And that's what I'm saying. If that's an issue, hire a security guard, someone that will follow him if he goes into the restroom to make sure he doesn't snort anything. I mean, there's precautions that you can take.
Yeah, or if donations, if money's being passed around, things like that, right? Just that there's
just
some,
he has to be monitored if he can't be.
Yep.
If he can't control himself. I mean, that's just the thing.
Well, and not only that, but if you bring in a security guard, then you really covered all your bases, because you don't have to say it's because of him.
Yeah.
Right. You can just say it's for the safety of all.
But you tell the security guard just.
It's for him.
Right. You and the security guard know.
You know why he's there, but there's
I'm paying you for that man, right?
And you don't. He doesn't have to make a scene if he's a professional. He can just take him right on out quietly.
Just give him a chokehold and take him out there.
So chloroform.
And then we'll end up on sheet talkers.
I know that's right.
So I'm going to stop it there. But let me tell you, I have got some juicy Reddit posts for us in the future. Speaking of chloroform, not specifically chloroform, but what you made me think of, I have a post in here somewhere that is about how the bride made everyone pay for attending the wedding, because the idea that I'm paying for your food and all this other stuff, and so I'm gonna need you to fork
Well,
up for those
hop on
plates of food.
over.
Yeah, well,
Because
then wedding registry delete then.
yeah,
So,
the
those are some good
bride
posts.
and cater drugged their people. So go,
that.
y'all hop on right over there. I
It would
posted
be
that
all
on.
right with us up here. I mean,
Yeah, then we're creeping
I knew I
slowly
felt good
towards
up here
the
for some
Forensic
reason.
Files episode.
No, they gave them cannabis, Ben, in all the food.
Oh wow!
They
And
knew what they were
people
doing, but they just didn't think it through properly.
Well, then they
All the
probably were
way.
pretty chill. That's for sure.
right.
That's why people were like, I wondered why I was having such a great time there. Anyway,
And then I will end on this. Okay, the fragrance I'm reviewing this Friday.
Oh.
The dominant note is.
hold on.
Okay,
hold
hold
on. I want to give you.
Yes. No, not you.
Oh, whoa! Okay.
There we go.
So this week, the dominant note of the fragrance that I'm going to review on Friday is cannabis.
Oh, shut the front door, Doc.
Absolument.
Will you please link it?
Of course I
I'm
will.
going to make sure that after that airs, we're going to get the link up on
Okay.
the social distancing
Cannabis is
channel.
the
You guys
dominant
can catch
note. This is the second one, actually. And so I am super excited about
it. Me
that.
too.
So.
I am.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So that's what you got. When is that going to come out, Doc?
This Friday.
This Friday. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I missed that. All right, so on Friday. All right, so then I'll go next since mine's chronologically the next. No, we'll go with you, Sandy.
You go next, and I'm going to mute because the dog's barking. Hold on.
Okay. Thursday.
Oh my goodness, great, exciting news. We are going to be talking sheet about what's happening currently with the current events with Johnny Depp and Amber Turd. And we're going to touch on Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. And I'm going to have a panel. So I have somebody in my comments that I'm waiting for her to tell me if she's coming on for sure. But I have my friend Echo. She's been on the show before. Mr. Pineapples will be on. And JD, if you remember, he was the author of The Third Gift.
He's the one whose parents.
He's the mom who's he's the one who's his wife tried to kill him, all that good stuff. So anyway, he's going to be on here on this show as well. And so I'm super excited. So Thursday, I think we're going to try to bump it up to 8:30. We've just had a couple of requests for earlier times, and just because we might go a little bit longer. So stay tuned because this is going to be so good. We're going to talk about feminine toxicity, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I'm sure it is.
Toxic. Not toxic femininity.
Feminine toxicity, it's all the same. Who cares?
I felt like I knew what it was prior, but now that we started saying them all, I'm like, which one was it?
Because it's toxic masculinity.
So
Toxic
it's
femininity.
toxic femininity.
Okay.
Is it
All right.
toxic femininity?
It sounds weird saying it that way, but
It does.
that's because we've been conditioned,
Feminine
which we're going to talk a little bit about that on.
We've
Toxic
been
femininity.
conditioned.
Toxic femininity. I don't
We're
know.
going to talk about toxic femininity. So anyway,
Yes.
I'm super excited. I need everybody in the comments because
But you need
this is
to
going
get
to
it
be
right.
great.
It is toxic femininity, not masculinity. So if you're thinking Sandy is saying it wrong or she's mistaken about it, she's not. The idea is we always hear about the men who are bad. We're not going to hear about that on Thursday.
We're not.
Okay. And there's some good examples she's bringing up, so I can't wait for this episode. Because anyway, we'll talk more about it on Thursday.
But we'll talk more about it on Thursday, 9 o'clock, 8:30, probably 8:30.
Yeah,
Probably
okay.
8:30.
All right, and then I will wrap up here. So, thank you again. Remember, tonight we were supposed to have Chef Casey from Cassie. Thank you. I knew it sounded wrong. Chef Cassie from Deep Fried Dynasty. She'll be here next Wednesday, barring all technology issues are resolved and we're good to go. Okay, so if you haven't, go take a watch on A&E and look for Deep Fried Dynasty and take a look. All 13 episodes, under 30 minutes each one. You'll enjoy it. It's fun. It's good, and it revolves around vendors at the Texas State Fair and how they make all a year's worth of money in 24 days. It's a fun show, so give that a watch. On Wednesday, come back over here because Wednesday night, guys, I have been waiting for 4 seasons to find the person who's coming on our show Wednesday night. Okay, if you remember way back in season 1, we did a whole Dimensions of Wellness. That's when we used to send. Remember, we used to ask people to give us ideas for future shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the dimensional wellness of spiritualness. Nick Neargarter came on. And he said, "I want you to find someone who deals in science, like a physicist." And I was like, "Yes." I searched high and low, and I couldn't find one, but I met one finally. So Wednesday night, I have a physicist who's also a violinist, and she works
All the talent.
She works as a freaking engineer at my new job, Rivian Automotive, helping the world stomp out the carbon footprint.
$91,000.
So, yeah.
I saw a commercial.
She's coming on the show on Wednesday night. We're excited to have her here. But so this Wednesday, we have a physicist, violinist, and engineer who's going to come on and talk with us. So please come back and hang out with us then, okay?
Awesome.
Sandy, how much did you say it was in the commercial?
91,000.
Oh, wow.
That's just a little bit. Well, okay, let me tell you real quick, though. I'm going to give you a little bit of insider stuff, okay?
Okay.
Eric wanted me to ask if we got the friends and family discount.
Yeah.
No, I don't even get the freaking employee discount. They literally have these small windows of employee discounts where you can go, but you have to get it within that. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So I saw some people online. There's a picture it showed here in Normal. I don't know if you saw it, Doc, but there's a Rivian that's pulling a semi truck out of a ditch, and it wasn't. It does appear. Apparently, it was not a Rivian sponsored event. There's someone who had the Rivian truck driving down the road, saw a semi that was stuck in a ditch.
Wow. Okay.
Staged.
I think it looks staged too, but like I said, no whatever on it. So anyway, the other thing is, I've seen people who are buying Rivians for 70, 90, whatever, and they're reselling them for 122, 175,000, doing raffles and bids.
Yeah.
They're taking these to eBay and being like highest bidder.
The Ford
gets it.
Bronco's the same way right now.
Yeah.
Is it
yeah.
really?
The full size. The full size.
That Bronco, I missed the Bronco though. I might want to get one.
I told Eric I wanted a Bronco.
Oh,
But
They
Eric
are
wants
cool.
a Corvette.
he wants a Corvette. I
You
couldn't beg him as a Corvette guy.
What
about you, Ben?
you can't go wrong either way. Actually, guess what I'm looking at? In 2 years, they're bringing back the Volkswagen bus.
Oh yes, I've seen
I
them.
heard about
They're
that.
Have you
so
seen it?
cool.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I will be working my inner Fred and Shaggy and Scooby. And
I
will-
love
I
it.
will be
That's
getting
funny.
I think that's a good reference. I personally love the Lost reference better. And so,
Okay.
did you ever see Lost?
Yes.
And so when they're in the past and the Dharma Initiative, so all the vans are Volkswagen vans. So
I like that one.
yeah,
All right, kids,
All right.
we got to wrap it up.
we do. Thank you all for hanging out with us. I know we went. Wow,
We went way over. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there.
we love y'all. Have a great night. We'll see
Good
you
night,
on Wednesday,
everybody.
Thursday, and Friday.
Thanks, Dr. Ben. We enjoyed
Absolutely.
you being on.
Anytime. Always great to see you guys.
Great.